This is my 1984 VF75F. Now when I bought it, they made a very, very loud tapping sound from the front and also the back, because when I went inside, the cams were, lobes were rounded and the tappets were all scooped. So I sent the rockers, or the cams, out, and they were parkerized and reprofiled and parkerized. And the actual tappets were sent out as when they were rebuilt. Put a company up in Walkerton, Ontario, and very economical. So, I just put it all back together. Now it's got some issues with, the surface rust like that, and other little rubber bits are starting to wear, but it runs strong. Now I've just put the carbs back in, and started up, and I still find that it sounds, I think, a little tappy. Now these tend to be a little tappy, we know that, but this is what it sounds like. And a couple of other things. Well, you can hang. I just shut that off. So my revs seem to hang a bit. Now, these are using aftermarket rubbers, the boot rubbers here, okay? And they fit really well, except that there's just a little bit wider on the outside, the circumference, the outside diameter, or I guess circumference, of the stock ones, and it's very difficult to get the clamps on. So I think what's happening is I had to actually cut off part of the inner part of the clamp. So when it's squeezing together, I think it might be making it a bit oval instead of round onto the throat, and that might be causing air leaks to go in, which is probably causing the issues with my my revs. And doesn't matter how much I tighten them, it's always going to be an issue. So I think I've got to find other clamps, except that because they're so snug, two of them, like the front left here and the rear right, the rubbers are so close to the outside, or the top of the head, the outside of the head, that you cannot get the clamp in there low enough. So I may have to take these out. Hey, hold on. Hi, buddy. And either shave the sides or something, or maybe find more of the stock size rubbers. Which is kind of annoying because these were very economical and they were well built, but the stock ones are stupidly expensive because it's, stupidly expensive. Now this has had the oil modification down there, and you can kind of see it. And it's a flange that fits between the oil filter, which is from Goldwing, and the body. There are two lines, and they replaced that metal bouncing line that goes from the front head to the rear head. So you see here, kind of hard to see. I'll go to the other side. If we go to the other side here, you see they come off the bottom of the actual adapter, and this is one line, that's two line. This goes to the front head and taps into the original line. This is the rear one, it taps into the original line, or really clamps on rather. And I've used the rubber ones for now to make sure they work, and I'll probably replace these with some nice stainless steel lines or something next year, because they'll look a little better, and also they'll probably last a little longer than rubber ones against the hot body. So that's the bike. I'm trying to figure out if it's still a little too tappy, and that would be an indication that I probably said the valve clearance is wrong. Now, the stock Clymer book says 0.12 millimeters. Okay, the bulletin from Honda that came out afterwards for this bike was 0.15 millimeters, 0.15. So obviously big. So what I set everything to 0.15. Just get the feeler in there, just so you can feel the resistance, and maybe 0.15 is a little too large, or maybe it's supposed to be a little noisier at 0.15. I don't know. So kind of hoping someone out there who has experience with these can give me some indication of whether or not the tappets should be louder when it's set to the new 0.15 according to the service manual, or whether or not they might have they think they might have slipped and I might be a little bit off again. I don't think I'm going to be too tight on these. And also the revs hanging a bit when they come down, I think is an indication that they probably still have air leaks in these boots. And again, they're good boots, but getting the clamps on is very difficult. And you can see here I had to cut the inside of the clamp, the part that would normally go around the throat, so that so I can get him in there. and I think it's causing it to become a bit more oval than it is perfectly round. Anyways, VF75F, wonderful bikes. I love them. A lot of power still. A little heavy though. 480 pounds. It's a little hard on my knee, so I made eventually go down to the 650 or something. It's about 80 or 90 pounds lighter. And if you have a VF750, I hope you can pipe in if you have any advice. Have yourself a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.